part of your journey in this 2024. And that's why we have created and designed well thought out programs that will help you build capacity and skills to be productive. I invite you to join us on this free masterclass series from January 5th to January 11th. Find what the best suits your interest and then join us there. The link to join is just below this video. So please join us. And then our thought out programs that will help you build capacity and skills to be productive. I invite you to join us on this free masterclass series from January 5th to January 11th. Find what the best suits your interest and then join us there. The link to join directly and the integrated just below this video. So if you have joined again, and then our thought out programs that will help you. We trust you have the same goals. We invite you to join us on this free masterclass series. That want to help you January 5th to help January 11th. Find what the best suits your needs. That's why we have the link to join directly and thought out just that will help you. If you have joined again, and then our thought out programs we trust you have the same goals. We invite you to join us from January 5th to January 11th. Find the best to help you January 5th to help January 11th. Join the best suits your needs. That's why we have the link to join directly and thought out just that will help you. If you have joined again, and then our thought out programs we trust you have the same goals. We invite you to join us from January 5th to January 11th. Find the best to help you January 5th to help January 11th. That's why we have the link to join directly and thought out just that will help you. If you have joined again, and then our thought out programs we trust you have the same goals. We invite you to help you January 5th to January 11th. Find the best to help you January 5th to January 11th. That's why we have the link to join directly and thought out just that will help you. If you have joined again, and then our thought out programs we trust you have the same goals. We invite you to help you January 5th to January 11th. Find the best to help you January 5th to January 11th. That's why we have the link to join directly and thought out just that will help you. If you have joined again, and then our thought out programs we trust you have the same goals. We invite you to help January 5th to January 11th. expectations of what you want to have in this new year. Now, we want to help you achieve your goals, we want to help you be part of your journey in this 2024. And that's why we have created and designed well thought out programs that will help you build capacity and skills to be productive. We invite you to join us on this free masterclass series from January 5th to January 11th. Find what the best suits your interest and then join us there. The link to join is just below this video. So please join us and let's have a wonderful time. Expectations of what you want to have in this new year. Now, we want to help you achieve your goals, we want to help you be part of your journey in this 2024. And that's why we have created and designed thought out programs directly at the capacity and skills special advantage. It's a high to join us and we plan a series of this year. From January 5th to January 11th. Find what the best suits your interest and then join us there. The link to join is just below this video. So please join us and let's have a wonderful time. Expectations of what you want to have in this new year. Now, we want to help you achieve your goals, we want to help you be part of your journey in this 2024. And that's why we have created and designed thought out programs directly at the capacity and skills special advantage. It's a high to join us and we plan a series of this year. From January 5th to January 11th. Find what the best suits your interest and then join us there. The link to join is just below this video. So please join us and let's have a wonderful time. Expectations of what you want to have in this new year. Now, we want to help you achieve your goals, we want to help you be part of your journey in this 2024. And that's why we have
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are listening from. Thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Damdolani, and I will be your anchor for this wonderful training. We want to wish you Happy New Year once again. All right. This is the first official meeting or training for Integrated Institute of Professional Management this year, 2024. And we appreciate your coming. Today's class is basically on mastering results-driven planning and goal setting for maximum productivity. All right, mastering results-driven planning and goal setting for maximum productivity. We still have other trainings coming up, but this morning, this is what we are going to be talking about. And we want you to prepare your mind, bring out your writing materials so you can write as much as you can. And I strongly believe that after this training, you must have gained a lot to run your year with. I strongly believe that goal setting is very important. Some of us, we must have set some goals. But we want to crave our indulgence to open up our mind to receive and prepare our mind to learn a lot from this training. All right, we make use of our YouTube channel. Kindly drop message if you have any question while the training is going on, or you have anything to comment about. Thank you, and you are welcome once again. All right, so Dr. Banito, we can proceed now.
All right, thank you so much, Dami, for the warm welcome, and thank you to everyone for joining us this wonderful morning on this section of mastering the art of result-driven planning and goal setting for maximum productivity. Now, one thing we want you to do for us is please kindly share the link to this video. In case you've not subscribed to the channel, please kindly do so. We're going to be spending the next 45 minutes to discuss this, and I trust it's something that's going to help you make the most of your engagements for the year 2024. Now, meanwhile, we'd like you to help us in the chat room, in the chat section, drop your name and where you're joining us from. We sincerely appreciate that. Kindly drop your name, introduce yourself by dropping your name and where you're joining us from. That would be a great one. All right. Okay, so we're going to be looking at mastering result-driven planning and goal setting. Result-driven planning and goal setting for maximum productivity. I'm sure each and every one of us have had a bit of our own affair in 2023, and then we want to get to have the best of 2024. Okay, in Nigeria, for a case, we had a whole lot of uncertainties that affected several individuals, that affected several businesses. So we want to make sure, or we want to be part of your journey in 2024, just to help you navigate the times. So one of the things I'm going to say is that 2024 is going to be the economic condition, the volatile and disrupted business environment is still going to remain. Okay, so we are only having introductions per time that create for more volatility, that create for more uncertainty, that create for more complexities and the likes. But as it were, the volatile business environment will still remain, the uncertainties will still remain, the complexities will still remain, and then the ambiguities will still remain. Now, diversity also and the massive disruptions will still remain. Just that per time, there could be certain factors, identify factors that could introduce these volatilities or these uncertainties or complexities or ambiguities, as the case may be. All right. So what we want to do here is to learn how to master not just mastering planning, but the art of result-driven planning. The planning that gives results. Okay, the planning that gives results. The planning that gives results. That's what we are much more interested in right now. So irrespective of the volatilities, irrespective of the uncertainties, we are much more bent on getting results. We are much more bent on getting results. And that's what we have carved out this morning to deal with. Okay, that's what we've carved out this morning. So I want to sincerely appreciate everyone for coming. And it's going to be a training that will change your perspective in a great deal and going to empower you to make the most of the year 2024. So let's just proceed on this together. And then I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful time. For questions, please use the YouTube chat and drop your question. We will definitely attend to all of it. Okay, we'll attend to all of the questions as we are here. Both the facilitator and the coordinator, they are both on YouTube. So any question you ask, they'll definitely pick it and respond accordingly. Okay, they will definitely pick and respond accordingly. That being said, now let's move on very, very fast. Now, in the learning objectives, in the objectives of our discussion this morning, we are going to be looking at learning proven techniques for setting smart goals. Proven techniques for setting smart goals, and then we will also discover the art of result-driven planning to ensure consistent progress. And then we're also going to learn about getting insights into overcoming obstacles and staying focused on our objectives. And then we're going to practice result-driven planning and smart goal setting. So we have some templates we have identified, and we will make them available in this course. We look at them in this webinar, and I'm sure it's going to help us in our plan. In case you've already drafted your plan, what the templates will help you do is just to help you look at your plan and then review it. This is just the 5th day in the month of January, out of 365 days or 366 days. You have taken 5 days. So I will recommend that in the next 10 to 20 days, let it be that you're using it to make sure that your plan is rock solid, your plan is result driven, your plan is goal oriented, you're definite that everything you've planned out, there are things that you can achieve this year. And also looking at your strategies, reviewing your strategies, and being sure that it's going to give you what you have aimed or set out to do in this year 2024. So now that we've looked at the objectives of our discussion, let's now move on very fast. And I'm going to start with this first quote by Warren Buffett. He said, "An idiot with a plan can beat a genius without a plan. An idiot with a plan can beat a genius without a plan." So that goes a long way to tell us how important planning is in our life. But is it just a plan? No. We want to just move it a little higher from just planning to result-oriented plan. The question is, could there be times that we've planned and then we didn't get the result? The answer is yes. Okay, several times we planned, but we didn't get the results. And like I often say, every year we make it a priority to make sure that we take sections on goal setting and planning. Okay, is that we're dealing with strategic planning, we're dealing with result-driven planning, effective planning, smart goal settings, and the likes. And in one of the trainings I attended coming up as a consultant, one of the trainers once said something, and I think that's one of the reasons many people think motivational speaking is not for them. Okay, so that particular speaker said something: every year, write your plans, put them under the bed, and then you'll be surprised that by the end of the year, you would have seen a large chunk of your plans achieved. No, it doesn't work that way. A plan that must work must be worked on, right? A plan that must work must be worked on. It's not enough to set a plan. It is important that we make those plans result-driven, and by being result-driven, that means it is a smart plan. We have defined assignment that must be done, defined time frame, defined objects that must be gotten as results, and the likes. However, the quote of Warren Buffett implies to us how important and how critical it is for us to plan. Now, Tony Robbins once said that setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. No matter what the dreams could be, no matter what the ideas could be, setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into visible. So we must therefore pay attention to setting goals. You could have a very bright mind, like it is. Some people could be intelligent but not smart. Intelligence sometimes tells you what to do. Smartness puts you on the go to doing them. Okay, so some of us are very, very intelligent but not smart. Smartness, intelligent could tell you set goals. Smartness tells you write the goals down and begin to pursue them. Draft your strategies on how to get there. So some of us can be intelligent but not smart. So it is good to be both intelligent and smart. So knowing what to do, okay, and then doing it in the most effective way that it will generate results for you. So all of our thoughts, all of our aspirations, all of our dreams can actually turn to realities only if we're there to set the right goals. And we don't set goals in the mind. We write down our goals. We pen them down. Okay, we write down our goals and we work with them. Okay, we write down our goals and then we work with them. Now, Napoleon Hill also said that a goal is a dream with a deadline. A goal is a dream with a deadline. So any goal you have, any plan you have that doesn't have a deadline, then be rest assured that that's not a goal. Okay? Any goal you have, any plan you have that doesn't have a deadline, then just be sure that you keep running around the circle, all right? And that's the challenges of most individuals and most organizations. They come up with something they feel is a goal, but they just keep running around the circle, all right? Now, moving forward, let's look at this also. According to Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, he said, a goal without a plan is just a wish. So that means that for every plan, there must be goals. And for every goal, there must be a plan. For every plan, there must be a list of goals for which that plan must achieve. And for every goal to have, to see the light of the day, then there must be what? There must be a plan. So a goal without a plan is just a wish. Now, quickly, what is result-driven planning? What is the result-driven planning? Result-driven planning is planning with the end in mind, knowing exactly what you are going to see by the end of the activities involved in the plan, knowing exactly the outcomes you are expecting. Okay, it is planning with the assurance that the expected outcomes will be delivered. By the end of the day, there is an assurance that the expected outcomes will be delivered. Then it is also a focused approach to specific outcomes. Result-driven planning is a focused approach to specific outcomes. Focus-driven approach or focused approach to specific outcomes. In another line, we can say it is aligning actions with desired results. Aligning your actions with desired results. You know, there is this saying that by their fruits we shall know them. Okay, there's a saying that says, by their fruits we shall know them. And a wise man once said that he could actually tell if someone will be successful or not by the actions he or she is taking today. So the actions you take today determines whether there's going to be a success tomorrow. But it is important for us to also know that for every action, there is also consequences, all right? For every action that we perform, for every action that we take, there are consequences to our actions. There are consequences to our actions. There are consequences to our actions. So we must therefore pay attention to aligning our actions to the desired results, okay, that we want to have. Now, moving further, what are the importance of result-driven planning? Now, we've highlighted three major ones here. You can go ahead and type in the chat room whatever thing you think could be an added advantage, an added importance of result-driven planning. You can put them in the chat room so that we can all learn together. All right, so whatever thing you think could be an added advantage, put them in the chat room, and then we go ahead and learn together. So the first thing here is maximizing efficiency. Maximizing efficiency. Maximizing efficiency. So with result-driven planning, you are focusing on being much more efficient because you will be able to prioritize your tasks and you'll be able to prioritize your resources. You know, there's what we call the law of scarcity, that resources are scarce. If resources are scarce, then our planning must be just in a way that the scarce resources should be allocated to the most important tasks, to the most important goals, to the most important assignment. So with result-driven planning, we'll end up maximizing efficiency. So we'll prioritize tasks for optimal resource utilization. Then we'll also have goal clarity. Okay, goal clarity. So with result-driven planning, we have clearer goals. And of course, we understand that the clearer the goals, the easier it is for us to pursue after them and achieve them. The clearer our goals, the easier it is for us to pursue after them and achieve them. The clearer our goals, the more motivated we are towards achieving those goals. The clearer our goals, the more motivated we are towards achieving those goals. The clearer our goals, the more motivated we are towards achieving those goals. All right? So this is very, very important. Ensuring everyone understands and work towards the common objectives. Now, of course, we understand that this webinar we're having this day is not just for individuals, is for everyone, for individuals, for governments, for organizations, both public and private, for families, and what have you, for teams. All right. Then the next thing there about result-driven planning is adaptability. In recent time, we introduced the concept of resilience planning. Since after COVID, the concept of resilience planning had become much more in place than never before. Resilience planning. And what is resilience planning? Resilience planning is a planning that helps you to survive even in the most uncommon times. Resilience planning is a plan that allows you to thrive even when everything seems to be upside down. And that is one of the key aspects of result-driven planning that helps you to be resilient, irrespective of whatsoever thing that will be happening. So by the time we get to our second section in the afternoon, we'll be discussing managing businesses in a VUCA environment, that's in a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous environment. By the time we get there, we'll look at the resilience planning, because more of what we're doing all through this in this series of the online masterclass is basically to help us manage our businesses, manage our careers, set realistic goals that will make us outstanding and make the most of our productive engagement all through the year 2024 and also beyond. So with result-driven planning, we get to be much more adaptable to events, manage changes, manage uncertainties, manage volatilities, disruptions as they come about. So flexibility to adjust plans based on real-time feedback. Now, quickly, let's look at the key elements of result-driven planning. Key elements of result-driven planning. We have clear objectives, strategic alignment, resource allocation, performance metrics, and risk assessment. Now, for the clear objectives, we could just summarize that your objective or your goals need to be smart. They need to be specific, simple and specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Your goals need to be simple to understand, specific to a particular target, that when it is simple, we can say, yes, this goal or this objective has been realized. Okay. Then let also your planning, your goals, let your planning and your goals be aligned to your overall broad objectives or your overall vision, your overall mission, what you want to achieve, your overall vision as an organization, your overall vision as an individual, your overall vision as a father, as a mother, as a parent, as an MD CEO, and what have you, as a leader, your overall vision, your goals must align with your vision. Your goals must align with your mission. Do you get that? All right. So I would like you to type something in the chat room that my goals must align with my vision and mission. I need to type that in the chat room. My goals must align with my vision and mission. Whether you're an individual, whether you're an organization, public, private, doesn't matter. Whether you're family or single, it doesn't matter. Your goals, your objectives must align with your overall vision, your overall mission, your overall strategy. So I need you to type that in the chat room, that my goals must align with my vision, mission, and strategy. Then you have resource allocation. We've already stated that one of the importance of result-driven planning is that it helps a resource maximization or maximizing efficiency. So with your result-driven planning, it helps you to allocate your resources to the most important tasks, to the most important goals, to the most important assignment, so that you can have maximum impact of the outcomes of the goals when they are achieved. All right. Then you have performance metrics. This is very, very important. This is very, very important. Every goal must have a key performance indicator that will tell us when the goal is achieved. There must be measurable outcomes. There must be measurable outputs to tell us that, yes, this goal has been achieved, right? These goals, there must be things that will tell us the definition of what our output is. Okay, there's going to be a definition. So we have KPIs, key performance indicators, that will tell us that, yes, we have achieved this, we have achieved that, we've achieved this. Okay, it is with the KPI that we can now evaluate the level of achievement, the level of our achievement as relates to the goals and objectives we have set. So the KPIs, the key performance indicators, or you can also group them in terms of milestones. Okay, what do you want to see per time to measure progress? What do you want to see per time to measure progress? What do you want to see per time to measure progress? So let's take, for instance, I think I was in a strategy section the other time, and I asked a question: what can we have examples of goals? And somebody said by the end of 2024, he want to get into being admitted as a PhD student. Okay, now that is a goal. By the end of 2024, I want to become a PhD student. That's the person's goal. But how then do we measure progress? You want to measure progress by number one, have you saved up money for it? So is there a particular amount of money you want to save? So let's assume to say, I want to start my PhD program by September 2024. Now, by September 2024, I want to save up to 500,000 naira. That becomes a KPI. Now, by September 2024, I would let's say by July 2024, I would have decided the school I want to get into, and I would have bought my form. So deciding on the school, buying your form is a KPI. Okay. So by November 2020, okay, you're starting September. So by October 2024, you would have made all your payments, done all your registration, done all your clearance, and all of that. Those are measurable KPI. Now, if you don't do these things, okay, if you don't see these things, then that means there is a possibility that you're not yet a student. So your performance metrics, your key performance indicators must be feasible enough, feasible. They must be realizable. Okay, and then you have your risk assessment. You have your risk assessment. Every plan has every goal is embedded with risks. So in your planning, you must have mitigation measures. First, you must identify the risks and then put up mitigation measures. Now, when you do a SWOT analysis, your strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat analysis, you'll be able to identify what your strengths are, what your opportunities are. Then you'll be able to understand what your threats are, okay, and what your weaknesses are. So your threats most often become risks. Your weaknesses may also become risks if they are not taken care of. All right, so how then do you want to deal with these things? Okay, how do you want to deal with these things? So in the key elements, we want to have our clear objectives, our strategic alignment, our resource allocation, performance metrics, or you could say evaluation, okay? And then you have your risk assessment. Now, if there's anything you don't understand here, please feel free to put up that in the chat room and we'll be there to respond accordingly. Now, moving forward, overcoming the challenges in result-driven planning. Now, when you engage in result-driven planning, one of the skills you must have, one of the abilities you must develop is called focus. If you don't know how to get focus, then result-driven planning might not be for you. The foundation of result-driven planning is called focus. So you can put that in the chat room and call it focus. The foundation of result-driven planning is called focus. Type that in the chat room. The foundation of result-driven planning is called focus. The foundation of result-driven planning is called focus. Put that in the chat room. The focus, or perhaps the foundation of result-driven planning is called focus. Put that in the chat room. Now, with focus, it is easier for you to identify the common obstacles, and it's easier for you to know what mitigation measures you could put. Now, for result-driven planning, one of the major challenges there is the unforeseen challenges and setbacks. Okay, unforeseen challenges and setbacks. Now, I'm going to use Nigeria as a case study because I'm speaking from Nigeria and I live in Nigeria, right? Okay, so in 2023, one of the major challenges the people had was the challenge of the electoral process, the election, the aftermath of the election, handing over power and all of that. It actually affected several businesses. Now, quite a number of organizations, individuals had great plans, but most of them did not put into account the effect of politics, the effect of the electioneering period, the effect of that political period on their plans. So several people felt disappointed, several people fell into depressions. Many businesses closed in Nigeria as a case because they did not put into account the effect, the risk element of that electioneering process, the electioneering period, that political season in the entire economic environment. So we must pay therefore attention on understanding the unforeseen. We might not be able to know what the all might be, but we can forecast, we can predict, and that's where scenario planning becomes very, very important for us. So in your tools and techniques for result-driven planning, then you must engage in scenario planning. So your scenario planning is for you to predict through scenario analysis, you predict what could happen and then what you could do if those things happen. All right. Then, what could be the possible strategies in handling issues when that are affecting result-driven planning? One of the things you could do is what we call the proactive problem solving approaches. And I just gave an example now. You could use scenario planning. Scenario planning is a good example of proactive is a good example of proactive strategies to managing challenges. Scenario planning. So you could use scenario planning to predict. So let's take, for example, that goal again. The person that says he wants to become a PhD student by the end of 2024. Let's take that scenario. Now, let's take a scenario planning that, okay, we are not planning, we are not changing things of, we're just trying to be realistic. So what if this person, in the process of going for this this goal, he lost his job? How will he still meet up with the goals? Now, let's assume that this person, in the process of going for this, maybe he had a car. Now, the car had an accident and there is no car again. What happens? Now, let's assume that this person, in the process, remember that this is a year program. He didn't plan that the wife will become pregnant, or as the case may be. We're just throwing up scenarios. Assuming the person is married. And now this person, the wife, gets pregnant by January, and by September, there is expected for her to deliver. That's the same September we're expecting him to become a student, right? So what will he do, or what will she do? There are extreme ends we could consider. Okay, what if in the process of this whole thing, this person's spouse maybe died, or this person, something tragic happened to this person? Will he still be able to get to that goal? These are certain scenario planning. What if, for a case in Nigeria, the school system now went on strike, and the strike lingered up to the September? What will he still do? Or the strike lingered and stopped the schooling system in Nigeria from functioning from January to September? What will the person do? So these are some of the proactive ways. You ask questions of what could possibly happen and find out how to deal with them should they ever happen, and then deal with them. Then another approach, another proactive approach, is what we call the agile planning approach. The agile planning approach. Okay, the agile planning approach. In the agile planning approach, one of the most important ways is to pick up the critical tasks per time. Find out the most important tasks and deal with them with that. So you pick up one and deal with it before you go to the next. Pick up one and deal with it before you go to the next. So as you're dealing with one, the challenges, the risks that come up, by dealing with them and by learning from those experiences, it is easier for you to go to the next phase. All right. And that's also part of proactive ways of managing your milestones. All right. Okay. Now moving forward, we have tools for result-driven planning. So you could use the project management software. Okay, but as much as we can, we don't want to make this so corporate. Okay, like so a formal training. No. Okay, so I've given the result, the success, what do you call it? Scenario planning as a case study. I've used forecasting. You can also forecast. Predictions and forecasting. You could use you could use trends also. You could use trends. For instance, you can use Nigeria as a case study and have a study of what actually precedes after the election period in Nigeria. If you understand the trend since the democratic times up to now, from the inception of Democratic Republic, from the inception to now, what has been the trend after the government has fully seated? If you're able to understand that trend, you can make predictions. You can now align your goals with those predictions and how you can help yourself achieve them. So I've talked about scenario planning. I've talked about forecasting. I've talked about trend analysis that you can use to make predictions. By trends, you understand events, and then historical events, and then make predictions of what could possibly happen. All right. Then we also talked about your KPI, your KPI, your KPI. Your KPI is very, very important. Without KPI, it is impossible to know where you are per time. Without KPI, it is absolutely impossible to track the progress. Okay, so you have to have well-defined KPIs, all right? So your project management software, you could use your Gantt chart, you could use your Excel sheets, you could use your table, your table, your charts, histograms, and all of those ones. Find the one that best suits you and then use them, right? Okay. Now, moving forward, how do you cultivate a result-driven culture? This is a culture that each and every one of us must have. A culture that each and every one of us must have. Okay? A mindset of results. This can take someone from mediocrity to excellence. This can take someone from lack to abundance. This can take someone from poverty to prosperity. Result-driven mentality, result-driven culture, result-driven approaches. Make your life, make your organization to be result-driven. There is no organization that ever excels without performance. So you could talk result-driven culture as the same as performance-driven culture. Okay, you could consider result-driven culture as performance-driven culture. And there is no organization that thrives without performance. If you are not ready to go the full length to achieving the result, then it is just as good as not bothering about setting the goals. It's just as good as not bothering about setting the goals, not setting the plans. But this culture will help us. Now, if you make this culture part of your life, so what simply means is that you cannot live a day without planning. You can't take actions without planning. Even if it's just a second to taking the action, you will still have to plan. When planning becomes, or when result-driven planning becomes part of both your conscious and subconscious being, it becomes part of your existence. It becomes who you are. Okay, so how do we build result-driven culture? Number one, leading by example in goal setting and planning. Leading by example in goal setting and planning. Make sure that as a leader, everything you must achieve must come by goal setting and planning. Not in as they come, we handle them. Okay, laissez-faire attitude towards leadership. No. Plan ahead. Okay, plan ahead. Okay, plan ahead. Plan ahead. Plan ahead. Assign tasks to everybody. Why you assign tasks to yourself? Assign tasks to everybody in your team. If it is your family, assign tasks to everybody in your family. If it is your company, assign tasks to everybody in your company. If it is your government, assign tasks to everybody in your government, in your administration. And make sure that as you're pushing towards your own goal, every other person seeing you that you're pushing, they will also push. Number two, encourage a mindset of learning and adapting. One of the key aspects of learning is unlearning and relearning. One of the key, there are three stages in learning, as it were. Learning, unlearning, and relearning, right? Now, that learning, unlearning, and relearning is the process of managing changes, the process of managing adaptabilities, the process of managing unforeseen circumstances as they arise. Knowledge is key to managing change. Knowledge is key to getting adaptable. So we must encourage the mindset of learning, because with much information comes much understanding. And with much understanding comes much adjustment. And with much adjustment comes much adaptation. All right? Then encourage a mindset of creativity and innovation. Encourage a mindset of creativity. Let people own their responsibilities. Let them think through to results. Let them think through to results. When you sit down on your strategy sessions, let people not just draft goals. Tell them to give you KPIs. Tell them to give you how to achieve this. How do they want to achieve this? that will pressure their minds to think, that will pressure them to think. And by that critical thinking, they will be subject to creativity and innovation. Their inner being will be exposed to creativity and innovation. And with creativity and innovation, results are easily achieved. Then also link goals to motivation and rewards. Link goals to what? To motivations and rewards. Link goals to motivation what? And reward. When goals are linked to motivation and reward, whether it is intrinsic motivation or extrinsic motivation, when goals are linked to motivation and reward, people work out all it will take to achieve those goals. When goals are linked to rewards, when goals are tied to motivations, then people form the habit of making sure that their goals are achieved. All right. Now, moving forward, benefits. What are the benefits? What are the benefits? What are the benefits of result-driven planning? You have improved decision making, you have increased accountability, you have enhanced team morale. Now, if it is for a person, you have increased personal morale. Okay, so with result-driven planning, you have improved decision making. You have with informed choices based on strategic priorities. Strategic priorities. I was speaking with one of my colleagues yesterday, actually the coordinator of this program, and he spoke something. He said that you have goals does not mean that all the goals will be achieved, but it is important you write down all your goals. Write down all your goals. Then now begin to prioritize your goals. That a goal is not a priority now does not mean that it will not be a priority in the future. So write your goals and begin to prioritize them. So that will become strategic priorities. Okay, strategic priorities. Then with your result-driven planning, you become much more accountable. Clear accountability for achieving results. The KPIs put you on your feet. The milestones put you on your feet. The targets put you on your feet towards achieving results. Okay, and for the fact that your goals are smart, they are attainable, they are realistic. Okay, so while they are challenging, they are also motivated. So it increases your team's morale. It increases your morale as a person also. Now, as we begin to round up on result-driven approaches or result-driven planning, before we go to goal setting, let's quickly look at this worksheet. If you would like to screenshot this, please feel free to screenshot it. But it is going to be here, so you can always come back to it and go through this worksheet. Okay, go through this worksheet. Go through this worksheet. So there are few elements that we just picked. Okay, now let's put a disclaimer here that this worksheet is just developed to guide you. It is not a standard, as it were. So what this means is it's called a template. That means you can work it and rework it to suit what works for you, right? But we've provided in the worksheet key important aspects of what your result-driven worksheet should look like. So the first one, you have your goals and your objectives. Your goals and your objective. So the question there will be, what specific result do you want to achieve? How will you measure success? What specific results do you want to achieve? So under that column, you can list all your goals. So for all the goals or the objective you set, they must be focused on using the smart approach, smart goal setting approach. So after this section, we'll go to the smart goal setting approach, just to review that and help us in setting our goals right or setting objectives right. Then the second one is alignment. How do these objectives or goals align with your broader vision or strategy? Are there any conflicting priorities that need to be addressed? What will be the alignment between these specific goals and the broader goal that you want to achieve? So, for instance, let's assume that the person that wants to become a PhD student, his broader vision is that he wants to become the most renowned consultant and researcher in the field of data analytics. Let's take that as an example. He wants to become the most renowned consultant and researcher in the field of data analytics. Now, let's assume that that is the broader vision, right? Okay, now, I want you to put in the chat room, what kind of goals can this person set? At this point, this person only has a degree in, let's say he has a degree in project management. So he has a degree in project management. But his broader goal, his broader vision is to become the most renowned researcher and consultant in data analytics. Now, I want you to use the chat room. Please write at least one or two goals, or one or two objectives that when he puts them from the point of being a BSc holder, by putting them there, he will be able to move closer to that broader goal. Okay. And then what are the possible goals this person can set now, and then it will become a conflict between where he is now and where he wants to get to. What kind of goals can this person set now? What kind of objectives or goals can this person set now that will now become a conflict? It will become a challenge that may hinder him from getting to the broader goal. All right. Now, KPI. This person has a degree now, but this person wants to become, let's assume that he wants to become a PhD holder in the next 6 years. So what could be the possible KPI that we can set for him? What metrics will indicate progress towards each objective? Define the target values for these metrics. So if we decide to put metrics in terms of the number of years, so he has 5 years, or let's say he has 6 years to become a PhD holder from his BSc or from his degree. What can he achieve in the next 2 years? What can he achieve in the next 5 years that will take him closer? Those 3, 5, they become metrics that we can measure. What amount of salary can he be earning within the next 3, 5 years? What amount of, let's say income or revenue? What quality of knowledge, extra certification can he be going towards to make sure that it helps him in getting towards becoming the most renowned consultant and researcher in data analytics? Okay, so set the KPI for him. So for anyone, you can just write something in the chat room for this person to pick, to take a clip from there. Then you have assessment. What is the current situation related to each objective? Okay, so I said the current position of this person is a degree holder, and he wants to become a PhD holder in the next 6 years. So his current situation now is that he's a degree holder. Are there other current situations that we need to pay attention to? Is he employed? Is he married? Does he have other dependent responsibilities? What is the current situation now? What is his mindset like? Does he have opportunities that can help him? Does he have access to information? Those are the things we now consider in the current realities. So what will be the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? So if we can assess his SWOT, if we can come up with a good SWOT for him, we'd have had a good assessment of his current situation, and then we can put up action plan on how to help him get there. So the action plan will now involve breaking down each objective into actionable steps, and then assigning responsibilities and deadline. Assigning responsibilities and deadline. Break down the steps, break down the assignment, the goals, break down each of them, assign time to them, assign responsibilities to them. Okay, assign time, assign responsibilities. Make sure that whoever that you're giving the responsibility to take any part of the goal, okay, they have the capacity, they have the skills, they have the competencies to be able to do so. Then also resource allocation. All right. So what resources, financial, human, technological, are required for successful execution of your action plan? Okay. What resources? So identify all the resources. Remember that your resource allocation is based on the fact that you've prioritized all your goals. Okay. You've prioritized all the goals and objectives, right? You've done a thorough prioritization assessment. Okay, and you've been able to identify the most important, the most critical goals, the most critical tasks that must be performed. All right. So your efficiency will be driven on the basis of effective prioritization. Your efficiency will be based on the basis of effective prioritization. Then you have evaluation. How often will you assess progress? You've already set your KPI, so how often will you assess progress to know the dimension of success to your KPI, to your milestones? What criteria will indicate that that adjustments are needed? If there are changes coming in, what criteria will you use to check that, yes, there is need for adjustment? For instance, if you want to use inflation rate as an indices, you can say, okay, if inflation rate goes to this, then there will be need for adjustment. What if you want to use foreign exchange indices? Maybe if foreign exchange move from here to this point, then there will be need for a change. Okay, what if the change will be based on exit of a particular key stakeholder in the goal, in achievement of the goal, or in achievement of the project? So how do you manage that? So you have to find criteria that will indicate that adjustments are needed. Then you come back to your challenges. So here we can actually consider our challenges here as the risks assessment. Okay, the risks and the mitigations. The risks and the mitigation. What obstacles might hinder progress, and how can these challenges be mitigated or overcome? So either you call it challenges or you call it your risk assessment or risk mitigations, right? So you have your risks and then your strategies, your proactive strategies to handle them. And then you have the documentation of the lessons you've learned. Of course, you also need to understand that your result-driven plan, after you're done with your planning, okay, you must have learned some things in the process of planning, in the process of execution, in the process of adapting to changes and the likes. Okay, then one of the benefits of result-driven planning is that it gives you opportunity for continuous improvement. So the question can be, what can be improved for future planning? Okay, then you can have your remarks, and as the case may be, put up other things there. All right. Okay, we have now gone through result-driven planning, and we want to look at goal setting. If you have any question, please feel free to put up your question in the chat room, and then we'll be able to take all of the questions. All right. As the section is going on, we might not be able to take all the questions at once, but as many questions as we can attempt to, we'll attempt to them. All right. Thank you so much. So now, quickly, let's look at goal setting, just to review on what goal setting is. Now, as an introduction, let's be rest assured that our goals need to be smart. We must adopt the smart goal setting approaches to be able to fix our goals in the result-driven plan, because the outcome of our goal setting will become an input to our result-driven plan, right? Okay, so smart in the sense that it has to be specific, and I always say let it be simple to understand, and specific, so that when we see it, we know that yes, this is it. Measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Now, by being specific, clearly define what you want to achieve. Clearly define what you want to achieve. If we go back to what we have defined in the worksheet, it therefore means that our goals and objective must be clearly defined, without ambiguity. They must be clearly defined. They must be clearly defined. Okay, they must be clearly defined. Okay, so example is, instead of saying you want to lose weight, you can be specific on lose 10 pounds weight in 2 months. Then measurable, establish criteria to track your progress. We've talked about KPI, performance metrics, milestone, and the likes. We keep talking about that, right? Okay, so establish criteria to track your progress, your KPI. So if you say lose 10 pounds in 2 months, you've already established KPI. All right. So KPI number 1, 10 pounds. KPI number 2, 2 months. Now, if you want to now work it and break it down into days and weeks, so how many days are you going to work out in a week? How many pounds do you intend to lose by working out in a day? at a specified period of time, that becomes much more base root KPI. Okay, then you have let it be achievable. Set goals that are challenging yet realistic. So, example, gradually increase your workout intensity instead of setting an unrealistic target. Now, like I said, how many times do you want to work out in a week? How many times? We don't know your current weight, but let's assume that your current weight is 100 pounds, all right? So you want to reduce 10 pounds in 2 months, right? So how many times do you want to work out in a week that is most achievable, that is most attainable? Looking at other schedule around you, okay, how many times do you want to do that? For how many minutes or hours do you think you can do that? At what time of the day do you think you can do that? These are specific KPI that can help you. These are specific KPI that can help you. All right. Then let your KPIs be relevant to the goals that you want to achieve. And let your goals be relevant to the overall vision that you want to achieve. So ensure your goals align with your overall objectives. All right. Then ensure that your goal is time bound. Remember what Napoleon Hill says, that a goal without a plan is just a wish. Okay, that's Antonio. Okay, so a goal without a plan is just a wish. Okay, and Napoleon Hill said it the other way, that a goal is a dream with a deadline. A goal is a dream with a deadline. So let there be time fractions to what you do. Now, techniques for setting SMART goals. There must be brainstorming, prioritization, breakdown, and regular reviews. Brainstorming, just as Dami said yesterday, take the time, take all the goals, bring all the goals as much as possible. Make sure you list all of them, document all of them. All right, document all of them. But now take your time to brainstorm on them. Which one will give you the most impressive result? Which of the goals will give you the most impressive result? Which of the goals will give you the most impressive result? Which of the goals will give you the most outstanding results? Which of the goals will give you the most outstanding results? Okay, then you begin to prioritize them based on how critical each of them are. Okay, how critical each of them are. You prioritize them based on the criticality for each of them. All right. Then you have the breakdown. The breakdown. One of the importance of breakdown is that no matter how big a goal might be, with a good strategy, you can break them down and achieve them little by little, and that brings us back to KPI. All right. Brings us down to KPI. All right. Then you have regular review of your goals, regular review of your tasks, to make sure that you are still in line. And then if there are changes that need to be addressed, then you can address them as the common bond. All right. Now, benefit of SMART goals: there is clarity, there is focus, there is motivation, and there is achievement. With SMART goals, there is clarity. With SMART goals, there is focus. With SMART goals, there is motivation. And with SMART goals, there is achievement. Okay. Now, let's look at this template of for goal setting and achievement planning. Goal setting and achievement planning. All right. So number one question there is: list some of the most important goals that you have for yourself over the next 2 years. So focus more on the ones you have for this year now. All right. Choose one goal that you are strongly committed to and circle the letter for it. Please concentrate on the circled area for the rest of the questionnaire. List some of the most important goals that you have for yourself in the next 2 years. So I want to bring it down, boil it down to just 20 to this year. So in the chat room, in this YouTube chat room, in the live section chat room, please, I need you to type just three most important goals that you think you have to achieve this year. 3 most important goals. 3 most important goals. Put them in the chat section. Put them in the chat section. I'm looking at the chat section as I'm looking at what I'm doing here. Okay, so find the one that is the most important that you are going to be strongly committed to. So let me help you a bit. Out of the 3 goals, which one of them that if you achieve it now will produce the most significant impact in your life and career? Out of the 3 goals, which one that if you achieve it now, it will produce the most significant impact in your life and career? Circle that particular one. List 3 critical goals, 3 most important goals that you must achieve this year. But at least out of the 3, which one is the most impactful one? The one that if you achieve it now, the other 2 might just be a walk away. So circle that one, and let's focus on it, the remaining aspect of this question here. What specific things will you tell that you have accomplished this goal? Okay, what specific things will tell you that you've accomplished this goal? So what are your KPIs? What are your KPIs? What specific thing is it that if you achieve them, it will tell that you've achieved this goal? So what are your KPIs? Write the KPIs down. Remember that you're focusing on the most critical task right now, the most critical goal right now. Now, the next one is, how do you know that you are really committed to achieving your goal? And what have you done to prove it? This is called assessment. For example, have you told people? Do you work it regularly? Have you made sacrifices in order to attain it? If so, what are these sacrifices you've made or you are willing to make for the goals for that particular goal now? How often have you planned about it? How often have you discussed about it, especially with the most important people that need to know about it? Okay, what sacrifices are you willing to make? What commitment are you willing to make? How is that going to impact on your time on the basis of sacrifice, on the basis of, or on your resources, on the basis of sacrifice to make sure that this goal is achieved? On the basis of your network, on the basis of your relationship, what sacrifices are you going to be making? Okay, what sacrifices are you going to be making? All right. Please, as we begin to round up, questions, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat room and then we'll attend to them, right? In case you're just joining us, thank you for coming. Okay, so take your time to go through. If you have questions, drop them in the chat room and then we'll be sure to attend to them. Now, how important is this goal to you? In other words, how badly do you want to achieve this goal? Please rate the importance of this of the goal on the scale of 0 to 100. Rate the importance of this goal on a scale of 0 to 100. Rate the importance of this goal. Rate the importance of this goal. Your own goal, rate them. If it is your organization, rate the importance of the goal to your organization. What specific things will you have to do in order to accomplish this goal? What specific tasks do you need to do in order to accomplish this goal? List as many of the specific obstacles that might hinder you in moving towards your goal, and then write down your thoughts about how they might affect your progress. All the hindrances, all the proposed hindrances, and all of them, write all of them down. What will be their impact towards the progress? In what particular ways will you walk through or try to avoid these obstacles? What will be your mitigation strategies? Do you see this goal as consistent with or conflicting with the values of the groups with whom you spend the most time? In what specific ways is it consistent and or is it conflicting with your overall goal, with your overall network of people, with your overall vision, with your overall strategy on achieving your goals? How consistent is your goal? Okay, how consistent is your goal? All right. Now, when thinking about your personal life and the way you would like to turn out, how does this goal fit in and help you with achieving your goal and life goals, your career goals and life goals? When thinking about your personal life and the way you would like to turn out, how does this goal fit in and help you with achieving your career and life goals? If it is an organization, when thinking about your corporate life and the way you would like to turn out, how does this goal fit in and help your organization with achieving their corporate goals? All right. Now, in what particular ways can you tell that you are doing well or doing poorly in moving towards your goal? List as many of the ways as possible. How will you track progress? How will you track progress? So this particular template has made it easy for us to understand those most bogus words we've been talking about, understand them in simple terms. On a scale of 0 to 100, what are the chances of accomplishing this goal as compared to other important goals that you have had? In other words, is it realistic to expect that you can accomplish these goals? So from a scale of 0 to 100, where 0 is impossible and 100 is possible, so you have 0, 25, 50, 75, and 100. So from a scale of 0 to 100, what are the chances of achieving this goal? Rate that. Where will you get help with working towards your goal if you need it? For what problems will you need help? Write them down. Or so, is there anyone or group of people who are particularly helpful to you in achieving you in giving you encouragement and support towards your goal attainment work? If so, in what ways are they helpful and supportive? Or what will make a person seem helpful and supportive to you? How will your spouse behave that you will now consider him or her supportive? How will your company behave that you consider them supportive? How will your staff behave that you consider them supportive to the corporate goal? You have to identify those things, all right? Are there times that you forget or get confused about what your goal is? Are there times that you forget or get confused about your goal? All right. Do you ever get really discouraged about your progress towards it? How do you get back on track and gain enthusiasm about it? If you ever lack motivation towards achieving your goal, it becomes a hindrance. So to be sure that you achieve your goal at all times, then you must pay attention to being 100% at least on get a level of motivation that will keep you moving. Okay, even if it's not 100%, get a level of motivation that will keep you moving. Now, for personal goal setting worksheet, all right. So goal setting is a powerful exercise. When you write down your plans, they have a way of becoming realities. Below and page next goal setting worksheet will help you define what is most important for you personally. So in the next 6 months, if we are to put our goals in immediate, short-term, and long-term ranges, 6 months, immediate being 6 months to 1 year, and short-term being 5 years, and then long-term being 10 years. What will be your immediate goals in the next 6 months to 1 year? So for 2024 and for every other year that will be coming, what do you consider your immediate goals? In your short-term goals in the next 5 years, what do you want to achieve? And then on your long-term goals, what do you want to achieve? I want you to do something. Just pick up this particular sheet, this particular worksheet. Work out your life in this way. This is part of strategic planning. For 2024 that we're in, what do you want to achieve? Now, from 2024 to 2029, what do you want to achieve? From 2024 to 2034, what do you want to achieve? Write them down. In this same order that you have them, please, if it's possible, while you write them, type them, make them bold on papers. If it's possible to get it on sticky paper, put it where you can always see them. Stick it where you always see them. Okay, stick that where you always see it. Your immediate goals, your short-term goals, your long-term goals. All right? Still on your personal goal setting worksheet 2. Now, list your 3 most important goals on the other side, or on that side. What could get in the way? List some obstacles to accomplishing your goals, list them. What actions do you intend to take to meet your goals? What resources will you need? How can you overcome those obstacles? Put them there. List family members, friends, and co-workers who can help you meet your goals. Put them there. When do I start? Your start date and your end date. Put them there. So write down kickoff date for taking action. Indicate when you hope to accomplish your goal. Now, as we round up with this summarizing quotes, first quote says, you have a very powerful mind that can make anything happen as long as you keep yourself centered. That's to say, as long as you keep yourself focused. And this is from Dr. Wayne W. Deere. And another quote there from Kurt Thomas. He said, I feel that the most important step in any major accomplishment is setting a specific goal. This enables you to keep your mind focused on your goal and off the many obstacles that will arise when you are striving to do your best. That's from Kurt Thomas. Never look down to the test. Never look down to test the ground before taking your next step. Only he who keeps his eye fixed on the far horizon will find his right road. This is from Doug Hammack's Job. And Charles C. Noble says, you must have long-term goals to keep you from being frustrated by short-term failures. Is it the reason why you need to type that your goals from today to the next 5 years, to the next 10 years, type them and put them where you'll be seeing them. Okay? In the pursuit of your goals, several obstacles will come. Sometimes you want to give up, sometimes you want to just forget about it. But no, when you have long-term goals, the short-term failures will not deter you from pursuing. That is just C. Noble. From Sidney Smith, he said, obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off your goals. So taking your eyes off your goals is a risk. Taking your eyes off your goals is a risk. Taking your eyes off your goals is a risk. Benjamin May said the tragedy of life doesn't lie in not reaching your goals. The tragedy lies in having no goals to reach. Very good. The tragedy of life doesn't lie in not reaching your goals. The tragedy lies in having no goals to reach. This is wonderful statement. And this is where we're going to call it a timer in this first discussion section of today. And I want to thank you essentially for joining us in this section. Thank you so much. One more time, please, if you have a question, put them in the chat room. The coordinator will come up with the questions now, and then we'll look at them. Meanwhile, if you've not subscribed to this channel, please make sure you subscribe to this channel and share the link to others who weren't here. Thank you so much, and let's look at the questions. Please, Dami, over to you.
All right. Thank you, Doctor, for this wonderful section. I mean, I've been writing and revisiting my goals as you were talking and teaching us how to set smart goals and some other areas. All right, so we want to give room for questions now. If you have any questions, please drop comment on the YouTube channel now so we can read it out and Doctor will address it quickly. So this statement, I've been thinking about it. Taking your eyes from your goal is a risk. Taking your eyes from your goal is a risk. So you must keep watching and keep watching and watching your goals that you set for yourself. The year is still new. I mean, we need to find ways to keep our eyes on our goals, and that will be very important. So if you have any questions, kindly drop the comment. If you have any questions, please, so we can quickly address that. We still have another class coming up by 4 p.m. Please do well to invite some of your friends as you are waiting for people that may have questions to ask. And the topic for the afternoon session will be so interesting. I believe everybody will like to participate. We talk about managing business in a VUCA environment. And what does that mean? Totality, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. I believe that a lot of people will like to attend that particular session by 4 p.m. But before we leave, please, if you have any questions, there's a room for questions now. So we can quickly treat that before we leave now. If you have any questions, kindly drop it in the chat room on YouTube channel. All right?
Okay, so if we don't have any question for now, we'll call it a timeout from now. Then we'll meet you again by 4 p.m. And just like the coordinator said, by 4 p.m. we'll be dealing with managing business in a VUCA environment. So I'm sure you really want to be there. And please don't come alone. Invite someone. Let's let's learn together. All right. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much to the coordinator. We look forward to seeing you again by 4 p.m. today. All right. Every other communication will pass through the emails. Okay, so pay attention to your email in case you're not in the what do you call it now? In case you're not in the WhatsApp community, please, we invite you to join us in the WhatsApp community, okay, so that we can all learn from here. So someone said, can I download this? Can I download this training from here? Yes, you can go ahead and download the video. Okay, you can go ahead and download the video if you so wish. All right, after the section is over, you can go ahead and download and you can reuse. All right, you can download and reuse as much as you wish. All right, thank you so much. Okay, so we'll also pay attention to the chat room. Questions coming up subsequently, we'll be able to deal with them. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of our fellows who joined. I saw Barrister Gabriel, irrespective of his busy schedule, he was here. I saw our able president, Femi Ganduno. I saw Ernest from Ghana, Sunday Osford, and quite a number of people that I'm seeing here. So thank you so much for coming. Damilola, you're the coordinator. Paul Giwa, and for everyone that came, thank you so much. And we hope to see you in the afternoon session. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. It won't cost you anything. Thank you. Okay, Dami.